Hello and welcome to Motorcult episode 69. Oh, how droll.
LOL. Okay.
All right.
I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my head co-host Ryan Sinetsky. Hello, sir.
Hi there.
That was quite the infectious laugh you have there. Good lord.
I'm comfortable.
When Janice is comfortable, I believe she means uncomfortable.
Everybody should be proud of me because I didn't make any Star Wars references on episode 66.
Okay, well, I have to ask. I'm going to regret this. What does
Execute.
Sorry.
execute
I
order?
wrote it.
60.
Execute Executive Order 66 is the
Okay.
order to kill all Jedis. So today on
I need one more sigh.
today on Motorcult, we will be talking about a new series on Facebook Watch about cars, LS platforms, the Grand Tour, and junk cards, amongst other things.
Whee!
Anyway,
After I'm done sighing, maybe one more time.
that's why I just decided to overview our topics. We were thinking about doing that last episode, but I don't know. If you guys,
Executive Order 66.
if you guys like having a preview, let us know. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. It's kind of I thought it'd be a good idea if it's like automatically starts playing the next episode. But Burger brought up a good point where it says in the blurb. So
It does,
Let
but
us know.
let us know if you actually read the blurb, and if you don't, then there's a good reason to put this in there. So,
Yeah.
moving right in. First topic. You mentioned a new series that is available exclusively on Facebook Watch.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to talk about because I accidentally did this about a week ago, and this has been live for a year. So what this is, it's David Freiberger, and I forget the announcer's name from Drag Week, NHRA Drag Nationals.
Okay. Yeah.
They both do a show together called the 3K Hoopty Challenge. And what they do is they go down to the Tucson drag strip or whatever the hell, and they invite a bunch of people down with these budget builds, like $3,000 or less market value. Not build value, but market value. So if you put like a $10,000 engine into a $1,000 car, I'm like, okay, it'd sell. I could see that for sale for $3,000 probably.
Okay.
And they split them up into turbocharged,
Okay.
nitrous,
Okay.
LS swapped,
Okay.
and then like unconventionals like vans, motorhomes, and pickups.
And they don't have an NA only.
Oh, sorry, they also have an NA. Yeah,
Okay. I'd say it'd be weird if they didn't.
yeah, they definitely did. So I went through and burned the entire season in one sitting.
How long are the episodes?
Like 18 minutes. They're pretty short.
Okay.
But
That's fair.
pretty good.
Facebook Watch seems like that streaming service that nobody cares about.
It's a garbage platform.
Yeah, it really is.
But it works just fine for watching this, and I highly recommend you go watch this because it's actually really
I don't
entertaining.
know if I want to be on Facebook for 18 minutes.
Oh, and there are 6 episodes, I think, so it's going to be 6 times 18.
I don't know if I want to be on Facebook for that long.
Well, all right. I guess you can't watch this then.
Well, no, that's just my thing is like, whenever I'm on Facebook, I'm on there to like,
Well, clearly they're trying to get this platform up and running.
I'm sure it's going well.
I don't know why it's not on Motor Trend on Demand.
Yeah, just put it on there. Well, probably some contract thing.
Well, but like it says streaming on Motor Trend, so clearly it's owned by Motor Trend, and it's like under the Roadkill page, which is Motor Trend. So
Weird. Oh, maybe it's just saying that like Roadkill's streaming on Motor Trend.
well, that it definitely is. But the 3K Hoopty Challenge, it's definitely an entity underneath that same umbrella.
Okay.
So why it's not on the Motor Trend on Demand platform, I don't
I
understand.
feel like it should be.
It should be, and it probably will be at some point when this fails.
Yeah.
But like, it's a really good show, so I feel like it's worth
Okay.
shouting
Yeah,
out.
no,
and
I would.
supporting.
I'm actually keen to watch that. Maybe you can go watch after you go to York
Quite keen.
Brewing tonight.
We could do that. Yes.
I
don't work Monday,
It sounds
so.
really cool. I'm actually, what would you build for $3,000 for
That's a
drag
good
racing?
question.
that is my first thing I thought of was what would you build? And I'll let you know what I would build. And
Then
we have whatever jam I
kind of
build.
putting me on the spot, but I think what I would take. I'm trying to think of like the cheapest, biggest engine car that I can make the lightest.
did you want to think that over for a second? 'Cause I already have
Yeah.
mine done.
Oh yeah. If you have one, then absolutely go first.
Take the crappiest EF I can find.
Okay.
Like 88 through 91 Honda Civic if you're not into Japanese cars. The crappiest one I can find. Get the crappiest running H22 powered Prelude I could find. H22 into the EF. You can get all that done for around $3,000. Though I think I've mentioned this before, but just like instead of doing like actual coilover suspension in the rear, just cut 2 springs and twist them together.
Oh, yeah.
So that it locks
Yep.
up.
Yep.
And weld the differential on the transmission.
Okay.
So because you're only gonna be drag racing it. Then do like the full Will Happel weight reduction where you cut out giant chunks of the floor pan because of rust and you remove everything except for the driver's seat and try not to have a roll cage. That should be good for like, even like with crap tires, probably like low 13s.
Jeez. That's pretty good.
200 horsepower.
I guess.
Probably 215 with no exhaust and a free flowing intake, yeah.
I suppose.
Then if you
Not a bad idea.
yeah, and that would feasibly you could get that done for around under $4,000.
I bet if I cut enough of the old Element away, I could make it run 13s.
Oh yeah, just the bare chassis of the Element.
Yeah, that'd be
It'd
hilarious.
be super funny.
My answer, though, I thought about this just for a second. E46 BMWs right now are for free. You can buy them with blown heads for literally, you can get them for free. So I would take one of those, like a 323 or something, strip everything out of it, go get a 6-liter, and a turbo 350, and call it good.
LS swapped.
Yeah,
gut
LS
it
swapped
out.
E46.
E46.
Because that thing would put down power like crazy, and you could throw a turbo or nitrous on it if you wanted to. But.
Yeah, and it's E46, so who cares? You know?
Right, and like the drivetrains are really strong on those, so you're not going to break anything.
Yeah, that'd be a really good idea. Jen, do you have any thing that you would do? $3,000 to take out drag racing.
Take it.
And it has to be worth around $3,500, like if you see it on Craigslist, not something you're actually going to spend $3,500
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, just off the bat, just something hilarious that I would want to see. I don't know if you could do this for $3,000, but a BMW Isetta
Okay.
would be hilarious.
BMW.
I don't
You
know
could
if it
you
would
could
be
buy a really crappy one for that, for
Yeah.
sure.
Like, I think that would be really funny. I don't know if it would be
What
safe
was the engine?
or legal.
Was the
but-
engine mounted onto the suspension in the Isetta, or was
Yes,
it?
it is
Okay.
a small motorcycle engine, so it's mounted integral on the rear swing arm, and it's mounted in the bottom side out of the seat.
So you could.
You could get like a Piaggio Vespa, like
I was gonna say
350 drivetrain or something.
GY
It wouldn't be fast.
A
but
GY6 engine.
You could turbo it. I mean, you could probably make it
But yeah, just something
reasonably quick.
incredibly small and
Okay.
hilarious. That you just like, kind of like the Honda N600 we see at
Ah.
Brainerd.
Oh, I got a good one.
I thought you were gonna say like Geo Tracker with an LS or something.
Ooh, that would be good too.
That would actually be
I
entirely
like
doable.
that.
Yeah. Actually, no. My friend Bjorn has a Honda N600.
Okay.
With no floor,
Oh,
like in his
that sounds really unsafe.
in his backyard in Elko.
Oh, okay. Nice.
He also has a midget car chassis tube frame. You know, it's the tiny cars that
Yeah,
they do like.
yeah, we
like-
saw those at Elko.
Yeah, one of those. He's got one of those chassis, and the wheelbase is it's within like a centimeter of what the N600 is. So I take that chassis, N600 body, and then since it's going to be just a 4-cylinder motorcycle engine, or no, they use off like I think like 4-cylinder.
There were
like,
1,000cc 4-cylinders.
Are
that's
there
all I
1,000
remember.
cc 4
Yeah.
cylinders? So it'll be a reasonably sized 4-cylinder.
Yeah. Oh, it would honk pretty good.
I'm sure I can find a K series for cheap. Oh, it's rear-wheel drive though.
Yeah, if I was gonna do a front-wheel drive platform, which I wouldn't do for drag racing, I would do a first-gen Insight with a K24. But
Yeah,
'cause
that'd be another good one.
That thing would honk freaking
Yeah,
good.
and well, that's why I said my EF because I know for a fact what that's capable of doing.
Oh yeah,
And
those
with-
hook up super nice.
with the worst tires. That's a 13-second car. With like good tires, you can get way faster.
Because they weigh nothing.
They weigh absolutely nothing. And that's
Corey,
a
what
lot
would
of
you
power.
pick?
You're asking the wrong person.
Okay, fine.
But I'm gonna have to think about my engine for a second. You know what? I'm just on a just for my typical go-to tiny engine that's rear-wheel drive rotary.
Fine.
I'll think of something different later.
My favorite vehicle on the 3K Hoopty Challenge was one they didn't end up picking to compete until they needed like a tiebreaker for like the worst vehicle ever. It was a 1978 Chevy-based, van-based RV camper.
Okay.
And it was in horrible condition. It had a 400 cube small block turbo 350, but it had
Cool.
nitrous and a cam.
Dope. All right.
And it had hand-painted vomiting giraffes all over the side of it.
Perfect.
And it was not the slowest vehicle to run that day.
You know,
That's
actually,
It beat a turbocharged Ford F-250.
now that you mention it, that YouTube video with the guys that LS swapped an RV.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you would take?
Yeah, I think that's what I'd want.
The Fuel Injection Sucks channel. They took a Winnebago, a really big Winnebago that had a 440 cube Mopar in it. And they took a junkyard 6-liter van motor, 4L80,
Okay.
and they put a very, very large, I think it was a 76 mil turbo on it. And they are now driving it. And, like, it sounds like a built race car coming down the street, and it's still dog piss slow. It's still so slow, and it's like 600 horsepower.
Yeah, and it's heavy and it's as aerodynamic as a house.
Yeah. But, like, the turbo noise is coming out of an
So
ancient
funny.
Winnebago. It's really great.
Oh, there's a. You know what you can also find for $3,000?
What?
A really shitty Vanagon.
Okay. Oh, man.
Like a really bad Vanagon.
You could put...
And then put an LS into it. Because the floorboard's probably rusted out enough that you don't have to cut that much more metal to put an LS into the back.
Do they make a transaxle? Excuse me. A transaxle kit. Oh, yeah. You could run a Porsche transaxle.
Yeah, 930.
Yeah, you could run a 986 one, too, the Boxster.
That's true.
one.
Yeah.
Or... heck, standard Boxster 2.5 transaxle bolts to the 4.2 Audi V8. No modification.
I was thinking since I'd be doing an LS, I'd cop out and do a Oldsmobile Tornado transaxle.
No, those are the worst.
Yeah.
That was like transaxles before they could figure out how to do transaxles.
Yeah, but I think that's the transmission you have to use if you're gonna V8 swap a Fiero
I don't think so.
before the LS transfers.
You can use the V6 trans.
No, before the LS one, where you actually had to use a transaxle and make it
No, use
longitudinal.
Small block Chevy and a Fiero. I think you can run the 3.4 liter transaxle.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think so. I think the bolt pattern's the same.
Yeah,
Could be wrong, but the Tornado transaxle I don't think would fit, and it's also longitudinal. It's not.
yeah, that's I meant.
All the Fiero V8s I've seen are transverse.
Well, with the Vanagon, because the Vanagon's longitudinal.
Oh, right. Yeah, but again, that's the worst transaxle ever.
It's the worst van ever.
You can pick up a stock Boxster 5-speed transaxle for $350.
Oh, no way.
And-
Okay.
And they hold a bunch of power.
And I know for a fact that you get swap kits to put a
You
LS
can bolt a
onto that.
27T straight onto it. You can bolt a 32 valve V8 4.2 on it. No problem. Stock. And you can.
Yeah.
The LS is you go to the Boxster S transaxle, which are $1,000.
Wow,
But they also take just unlimited power. Unlimited power.
that's true.
I'm gonna sigh at my own comment real
Yeah,
quick.
you did that. That was you, not me.
This
actually,
one time.
Come to think of it, I would put a K24 into my N600 because I just remembered that they make K24 to S2000 swap kits.
Yeah, they do now. In
Yeah.
fact, I was asking that guy questions because I'm going to need some of those parts for the Brexit build.
Yeah, so I would do a K24 in the N600 and put that in the midget car chassis. And
That would be really rad. Although it
That would be the
like,
coolest
It'd
car.
be like a great track car, but better than it would be a drag car.
yeah, but I mean, it's just a matter of suspension setup.
Man, I built a K24 in a car that size.
It would be so
That
funny.
would be painful.
It would be so funny.
Oh, jeez.
I've been telling Bjorn to actually just take the two and put them together for like years because he's like a welder. I'm like, dude, you can do this. Like, you have all the tools and
Does
skills
he just
necessary.
want to wait and like LS swap it or something, or
No,
what?
he's busy putting together vintage boats and stuff. Like it's his
Weird.
job or something, which it is. But I mean, still, he should do the N600 in the midget chassis. Damn it.
That would be really rad. I mean, in a way that I haven't even comprehended.
So speaking of LSs and stuff, we had a
Yeah.
customer who brought in a Buick Rainier.
Oh,
work.
yeah, I remember those. Those are the old Trailblazer-based
Yeah.
cars, the GMT 350s.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know why it was at my shop, but it was at my shop regardless. Anyway, so I noticed that it was a 5.3 Vortec.
Yeah, they're aluminum. They had an optional aluminum 5.3 liter
Yeah, it's super
fourth
cool.
gen small block.
Yeah, just like the Trailblazer and everything else.
Yep,
is-
and the SSR and all that kind of
yeah, really
crap.
cool. And I'm wondering, I think that might be the winner, but what is the most hilarious LS platform, like factory LS
Talking
platform, stock, that you could build to make a sleeper to really upset somebody with a Corvette?
Chevrolet SSR.
Everybody knows it's got that in there, but that would
They're
be,
not fast. It's the same engine. It's an aluminum 5.3, but like
Yeah, it's slow.
they're slow.
That's pretty
So
funny.
if you built one of those that looked stock and had 1,000 horsepower,
That'd be really funny. I like the idea. I like the idea of like a Buick Rainier with like blown out air suspension in the back and just like absolute garbage.
no,
vehicle.
you have to go with the Oldsmobile Bravada.
Oh, I forgot the Bravada. Had
They
that.
weren't offered with the V8, but you,
They
you
weren't?
could put it in. Obviously, it's the same car.
Yeah.
But
No, I was thinking about
those were clapped.
something that you could just buy that had the V8.
Then I would probably go Envoy because those are way more clapped out than the Rainiers.
I don't know, man. The Envoy, it's like people kind of know. Like they go, oh yeah, this kind of looks like this is like a Trailblazer, but you show up with a Buick Rainier, and it's like dark green with like peeling clear coat, and like it's got the white tire lettering, but you hit a curb with it, so it's just like half the tires like all scrubbed
The
off
worst
into
ones
white.
I've seen have been Envoys.
Envoys are the worst.
Yeah, and it's like even like Denali's.
That's
The
true.
ones with the air suspension specifically.
Just all blown out and saggy in the rear.
And just like missing the caps and just like side swiped and like the headlights are dangling out or like the wrong one is taped into the car.
Oh God.
They're and like just rod knock
Just-
and the LL8.
the worst sort of like just pickup, yeah, or not pickup, but the worst sort of SUV, yeah. Oh no, what was the they had that one where they had the retractable roof that nobody likes.
Oh, the XUV.
XUV, that one. Yeah,
I also kind of want to do it to an Isuzu Ascender now.
I thought
forgot
about that. I thought about that after the fact. I'm like, oh yeah, the Isuzu.
For those of
Ascender
you
had
listening, that is the GMT 350 Isuzu.
that. Yeah, the Isuzu version of a Trailblazer.
Yeah. I don't know if you can get the V8 in that or not, but
Yeah,
I think they canned it
you
before the
can.
V8
I think the V8 was actually in there for like a year, like, and nobody bought them. Nobody.
The one of the last Smoking Tire episodes, they brought up the XUV.
Really, that's really funny.
My neighbor back in the day when it was brand new bought one.
Oh my God, they're so bad.
Oh, it's so
But
terrible.
the only thing I remember about that vehicle, like specifically, is there's this guy used to come to my AutoZone. He had one, and we could not find the rear wiper for it
Oh, I bet.
because the rear wiper on the XUV was different than the normal
Oh, of course
Envoy.
it was. Yeah.
And the issue with it was they were the same length. They were both a 13-inch wiper,
Oh, for
but it had a
goodness
different
sake.
connector on it, and that's why they needed a bailout.
Yeah.
Also, I want to. This is known to people, but I mean,
Oh, there's a bunch of these for sale.
the
man.
Saab 97X Aero.
I really like those.
That would actually be like a cool,
That's
a really
way.
cool truck. to
The
build.
Aero is a way better vehicle than the Trailblazer SS.
Yes,
Because it comes with like a way better looking body, better looking wheels,
stuff actually fits together.
and the same drivetrain. but-
Yeah. No, it basically is. They had the chassis, and then they built a body around it. But yeah, I think the Buick Rainier would be really hilarious to build.
There are several XUVs for sale on Craigslist.
Do they have the 5.3s?
No, these are both LL8s. They're
Damn
both
it.
red too. Weird.
Is it the same car or are they different?
Oh, it was a black one.
This is black.
Oh,
one.
this one's a V6. Wonder what they swapped in. V6.
I'm curious if the Envoy XUV actually ever came with that particular. Engine.
I will Google it.
Yeah, why don't you Google that? 'cause
For the
I'm not sure
record,
there's,
you
like,
can
next to
easily
crippled.
buy one for $2,500 in pretty solid condition.
So that might actually fit in the 3K Hoopty challenge. then.
Yeah, I think they would let you do it. It's like, did you buy an XUV, like the really heavy one?
It'd be like, yeah. Is the roof stuck halfway back? Yes. Did they come with a V8?
They were offered with the 5.3.
Yes. Perfect. There it is. That's the winner. That is the.
The LM4 V8 was an
That-
option on the XUV.
That might be the dumbest LS platform that you can build.
Yeah, I think so. I think that takes the cake.
I do want to know what the Pontiac Bonnevilles and Impala SS, but those ones will never be fast because they're front-wheel
LS4 is
drive.
barely an LS platform.
I know.
Nothing fits.
Yeah, I know nothing fits. It's front-wheel drive. It sucks. So,
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm gonna see if any of these locally are V8s. Yeah.
yeah, you definitely gotta do that. Also, so these are all things we can find in the junkyard. I'm just gonna bump my next topic up just while you're seeing if any of those are V8s.
Yeah.
I was not tagged in this, but I guess I'm going to the junkyard tomorrow now because
Why?
there was a Subaru GL10.
Oh, I saw this. You were tagged in it twice.
Nobody tagged me in it. I never saw it on Facebook.
You were visibly tagged by 2 people when I went to look at it. That's why I did not tag you in it.
I never saw it.
I'm just saying.
It's so weird. I'd never seen it, and like I would have totally bought it. So it's
Well,
entirely.
Apple doesn't let you do that.
I'm blaming Facebook for this, and I really hope that Zuck has to go to jail now. He totally deserves it. But anyway, so yeah, now this like kind of rusty but still totally drivable low mile Subaru GL, which is the pre-Impreza Subarus.
Talk about how sweet the graphics are on it.
Yeah, it's got the 555 Impreza graphics on the side of it, which, I mean, I don't really care about that. The reason I'd want it is, like, I used to see this car whenever me and Jam would drive into Uptown because he's right down the street from me. It always made me really happy to see another GL. I'm like, cool, I'm not the only person in the world with one of these. And, yeah, then it just disappeared one day. Apparently, I blew a head gasket, and nobody bought it. And I never saw the Facebook ad. I would have totally bought it. It was $200.
Oh, there was a Facebook for sale ad.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
That's
that.
what I meant.
Okay. I thought you meant the
guy,
post on
No,
Google.
the guy had it for sale.
Oh.
For
yeah.
like months.
I did not see that.
And apparently nobody tagged me in it. So
That
it's like
It's ridiculous.
it was right down the street from my house. I never saw it for sale.
Wasn't it for sale for like $200 too?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like I would have totally bought that because $200. I do a head gasket. Janet would have a really nice car with all-wheel drive to drive around when she goes like
I
archaeology
mean, it was
stuff.
Yeah,
pretty
well, I
rusty,
don't
but
know.
still.
No, the front end's rusty. The rear end
I
looks
don't know
fine.
if I would be able to drive that for 3 hours down to on gravel roads.
Well, I mean, for a while, but then I would sell it and
Until it
be
needs
able to
another
make
head
some money.
gasket.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, once you head gasket on it, you're good for about 40,000 miles. And trust me, 40,000 miles in a GL
That's
is
a
long
lifetime.
time. You're also going about 40 miles per hour too, and it's
Of course, yeah.
it's gonna
It's
actually
drag limited, we'll say.
yeah. Well, it's not drag limited, but it's just
That
it's
was
power
a joke,
limited.
Ryan.
But anyway, yeah, so now this car sits in a junkyard. I really loved it. I wanted to get it if it ever went for sale. Never saw it for sale. Now it's in a junkyard. Great.
Yeah, fabulous.
So I mean, I guess the good news is it supposedly it's a turbo as well.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I might be able to get my GL10 back on the road because I need the new wiring harness for it before I do a carburetor
Wow.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
Ryan was really bummed out, and I was just saying, like, you might have not been able to buy it while it was running, but now, like, we have parts for our car and
True.
other Subaru.
I just hope that there's other people out there with the same vintage
Oh,
Subaru you
yeah.
have that also know about it and are also going to
Yeah,
take
there's
parts
a
off
bunch
of
of
it.
people.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and, like,
I know all 5 people with GL10s.
whenever we go to U-Pool, like, they literally know me as the Subaru queen, and they're like, oh, yeah, somebody else saved these parts for you.
Yeah,
They
like-
don't know me, but they know to save certain parts for me, which is hilarious.
we there was a time where they had no, it wasn't. That was John's Auto Parts actually.
Okay.
Up in East Bethel, we were going down
Okay,
there because
sure.
they had 3 Loyals and an XT6. Oh my god! And one of the workers was going through there, and he's like closing up everything. He goes, "Oh hey, I put some stuff in the trunk that you guys might want." And we looked at back there. Is like a different is a spare dash or a spare gauge cluster and a bunch of like really clean interior panels. I'm like, this is all stuff I need. Thank you. This is great.
That's
and like
already
a
pulled.
and like a clean seat, like a D pillar for my wagon, which are like super rare to find, and they are never in good condition. They always break and fly off on the highway.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and then you just got this big gaping hole, and it's really dumb.
Yeah, my favorite was they're like, "Do you have closed-toed shoes?" Like they would look at me and ask me that, and I was like, would slam like my boots on the counter and be like, "Yeah, I do."
So
I've had to go home from Rosemount twice because I've forgotten the closed-toe
Closed-toed
shoe
shoes.
thing. I've
That's
been in
funny.
flip-flops. I'm like,
You know, it's rough, but like I come
seething
prepared.
rage. Apparently you do, and I don't, so that's fine.
but that's the thing. So basically, this car I really wanted is now in the junkyard. However, that is not the worst thing I've ever seen in a junkyard. I started thinking about this, and
yeah, I
mentioned
just saw
that.
this question.
Yeah,
It's,
and I'm
it's bringing up some memories. man.
yeah, and somebody mentioned seeing a URS4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like really clean first gen S4. Apparently,
Yep.
it was in a junkyard. And I remember the worst thing I've ever seen at U-Pole only, not counting other junkyards, but just U-Pole alone in person that I saw, a 1976 Honda Civic
Oh
in
wow.
beige with a clean brown interior,
Oh no.
CVCC automatic with the failed transmission.
It hurt.
That
Gross.
car is so rare. I looked on it, and it had like 60,000 original miles on it. Like it was definitely
Oh my
not rolled
God.
over because it was like so clean. And nobody had taken anything. They ended up cubing it, and it was like almost complete when they cubed it.
Well, yeah, nobody else has one of those because it's
Yeah.
so rare.
But that's the thing is like that car, like should have been in a collection somewhere because it was a really interesting transmission.
Somebody died, and somebody's idiot kid
Yeah,
gave it
somebody's
to
idiot
U-Pull
kid.
for a
Maybe
tax deduction.
one can only hope that that idiot child,
Contracts.
as I say, is hanging
Hep
from
C.
the rafters somewhere, by their own demise.
Jeez.
I'm not happy about it at all. But yeah, no, the car had no rust on it.
Oh, I hate the feeling knowing, especially at U-Pull, when you cannot buy the car
Yeah.
from them.
I offered them. I'm like, I will total up however many parts are on this car. I will buy it for the cost of all the parts plus whatever weight and scrap it is, because that car was worth more. Like I totaled it up. It'd be like $7,200 that they can make
Jeez.
off a car if you sell every part individually, like
That's
by the book.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, and that car at the time was worth probably around $5,000. I would have totally bought it for $72,000. Totally would have rebuilt the transmission for $3,000, and right now it'd be worth about $25,000.
Jeez.
Yeah,
For an auto?
it is very rare. So, all right, the thing is with the transmission on that, it was a different. They called it a Honda-matic. It was
course they
different.
did.
It was different than it wasn't a planetary gearbox though, and that's why I had to call it that. Is the planetary gearbox automatic transmission at that point in time? Somebody had a trademark on it in Japan.
Okay.
I think it was actually one of the American companies that trademarked it like as like a FU to the Japanese like brands. And eventually Japan just like sued them and said, no, it's not happening in here. We're making planetary gearboxes. You are not the only person to have this trademark.
And that worked so well for them.
Yeah, but no, the Honda-matic was actually really interesting because it was kind of like a pre-selector gearbox, where it was a pre-selector gearbox. It's a pre-war version of like a DSG, where
It's post-War II. They used
Yeah.
pre-select up until probably the 60s.
yeah. From what I understand, it was like a pre-selector where it would queue up the other gear and then slide it into gear once it's time, but
Yeah.
it had an automated clutch on it.
Yep.
It was a 2-speed automatic.
Oh my God. That would have been so terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, the car, even with a 4-speed, was nothing for performance. It sucked regardless for performance.
I
Like
know, but
the whole thing about the first generation Civic is that, like, yeah, you could coax a lot of power out of it if you modified the engine, and you could also like make it handle really well, and that's how it would win races, is from handling. But the
just like the Mini.
yeah, no, that CVCC automatic, like, even when you open up the doors and you sat in the seats were still firm and everything. Like, they weren't like worn or anything. It was just flawless. I'm so pissed.
Yeah, I would. I don't think I would have like cried, but I'd have been like, "This is so depressing."
I was like, I
This
actually
is like seeing a dead person on a sidewalk that's frozen to the ground. Like,
I-
there's
I
nothing I
actually-
can do here.
did not buy the stuff I was going to buy otherwise because I was so mad. I didn't want to give him my money for scrapping that car. So I actually, after I saw that, I tried to buy it. After I saw it, I tried to buy it, and they said no. I didn't go to U-Pull for like 2 years. I went exclusively to John. I went like way out to East Bethel to like go to John to like wait till John's had the car that I needed.
Well, I mean, there's a U-Pull in East Bethel too.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, as opposed to going to Rosemount, which is way closer to where my parents lived.
Oh, okay. Sure,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So yeah, that's why I would just drive like across the world to East Bethel to go not give money to U-Pull.
Well, it's not really their fault though.
It's their policy.
I know, but policies are there for a reason.
Yeah, but I mean,
A lot of the cars in there, I mean, if you bought them and you like were able to somehow repair them and put them back on the road, might be a huge liability.
oh, it's a massive liability. Yeah,
so
but-
I mean, I get it.
it's just one of those things where it's like there are junkyards that you can buy cars from, like French Lake. You can buy a chassis from French Lake.
Yep.
And I don't know if French Lake can do it, U-Pull can do it. You know.
They totally could, and the people that work there are smart enough to know what type of car to do that with.
Yeah, and that would be one.
Correct.
Well, I think
Unless they've
This
got it with no title, in which
this
case,
is no. You can't give a car to U-Pull without a title.
I bet you could do it with a bill of sale.
No, I've tried.
Really?
Yeah. Because I couldn't find the title for a car I scrapped once, and I had to go buy a title, and then by the time they were done like towing it and everything, I made like all of $10 on the car, so I was pretty pissed.
I think I sold the donor chassis for Blupski to U-Pull, even though it was like completely gutted. I think they still paid me money and came and got it, even though it didn't have like any front suspension on it, no engine,
Yeah, no,
no
the
trans.
car I gave him was like that too, but like they gave me the same amount as if it was a full car.
Yeah,
but,
it's super weird.
but no, it just it doesn't make sense. It's
No.
just really dumb.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? U-Pull is part of Team PRP, which is that's a company that owns that junkyard. And I wonder if I could actually buy that through work. Because we have a corporate account with them that we buy a lot of stuff from. So
I still bet not.
I think it's one of those things where if you know somebody, you might be able
Maybe,
to.
yeah.
So if I could get that,
If somebody could look the other way a lot of times.
if I could get that Loyale before it hits a junkyard or before it hits a actual like scrapper and like gets cubed.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I bet it's still too late, but
Yeah, maybe.
might be worth checking.
I'm gonna look into that at work on Monday.
Makes you feel ill.
Nah, they're fine. Actually, to be honest, if the chassis is clean on it, I'd rather have that to build than mine.
But it was a sedan, wasn't it?
Yeah, but mine's also a digital dashboard automatic, which is impossible to make those things work with the EJ swap.
So just take the entire chassis out of the sedan, put it in your car.
Yeah, well, no, I want to have the digital dashboard in mine.
Oh,
Digital dashboard and the automatic makes it a big pain in the butt because
right.
on my GL, I have to swap over the entire circuit board on the backside of the digital dashboard.
Oh, why?
Because it's completely differently wired than the manuals are.
Who
but-
thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. But this is the thing is like with the automatic, you can with a manual, you can swap in an EJ and still retain the digital dashboard. You just have to add in a 200 ohm resistor onto the tachometer.
Okay.
But it's
kind of weird.
It's the way that the speed sensor is set up. You have to. It's like a really ridiculous resistor you have to add in, but
Sure.
you have to. It's normally part of like on a modern car, it'd be part of the speed sensor. That resistor would be built in, but on the 80s ones it wasn't.
Okay.
It was built in on the dashboard, so you could theoretically just splice in the Subaru factory one, but then you'd be at like 80 trillion RPM.
Oh.
Like while idling, so it would not be accurate at all.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it'd be a very effective tachometer without
I
the
think
adjustment.
you would actually be like idling at like 12,000 RPM according to it, but
It's a very well built flat four.
it only has like it's got 2 digits on the tachometer because you have got 2 fixed zeros on it, and then 2 digits actually move.
Oh.
Because
okay.
the digital dashboard on my GL was before they had like fast enough computers to
I was gonna
account
say
for
the
that.
resolution probably just isn't there. Yeah.
It's processing speed actually. It wasn't fast enough to keep up. Like even then, like when I rev mine, like for the few months where my engine was healthy and like actually revving like it should, even with how slow that res because of how
Torque
garbage.
converter probably.
No, like we went neutral because of how garbage the turbo system is and how restrictive everything
Oh,
is.
sure. Okay.
Like it would barely keep
Just
up.
pure
with,
pumping loss.
yeah, it would barely be able to keep up with it. It would honestly be like if I like have my foot on the like wide open throttle in neutral, go like that's how it accelerate. Like in neutral, that's how fast it was. Because you normally go wham wham like
Well,
that.
yeah, but I bet a lot of that does have to do with a torque converter also. I mean, those are so heavy.
Super heavy. It's got like even more of an a unequal length exhaust manifold than the GL.
I bet the exhaust manifold's so terrible looking on those.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious. So the EJs, you have like one tube that's like 6 inches long, and then the other one's like 2 feet long.
Yeah, yep.
So
That's the
they-
up pipe to the turbo,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, like well, no, going to the up pipe. The runner's going to the up pipe.
Okay, so the up pipe's a separate piece from the exhaust manifold?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. On mine, it's literally a 3-foot pipe that goes across the engine, and you've got one input on the far side and one that goes just directly in on the near side to the turbo.
Oh, my.
So
okay.
yeah, you have 100% like just all the gas coming in from the right cylinder head, blocks off the left one, blows gas back into the combustion chamber on the left side, and then goes to the turbo.
So what you're saying
at
is
some point.
A custom exhaust from heads back would be very beneficial for
Oh,
an
you
EA.
can gain just massive power. You gain like I think it's like 12 horsepower on the NA ones when you put like an equal length manifold, which is like this is a garbage engine.
Well, that thing is
so-
making like 80 horsepower.
yeah, 80 like 12 horsepower on that. That's like a sixth more power.
It's like adding an entire engine.
Yeah, basically, it's massive.
That's like the exhaust system on the The W126.
Oh, really?
The U.S. one. It's got 3 massive cats to make the CIS pass the emissions or whatever.
That's really funny.
And the whole thing's breathing through just like crimped drinking straws.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
And
freeing
open it
that up helps a lot.
I think just opening up the exhaust, you gain like 30 horsepower on that engine. It's ridiculous.
Well, my coworker at work, he's got a WRX.
Okay.
Smaller.
Sorry.
We're on the conversation of Subaru. Well, he wants him as all-wheel drive, more reliable than an Audi, and still a sedan.
That fits those things, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
and comes with the manual. So he's like,
If I ever diss Subaru, just remind me that we're not talking about Audis, and then it'll be fine.
yeah, Audi exists. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, no, the Subaru's a good choice.
Subaru's really awesome, actually.
You're like, we're both in a public place together, and you're trying to talk somebody into a Subaru. Like, Burger, are Subarus good? Just remember Audi. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you really
they're
want a Subaru.
awesome.
They're like, which would you pick? A Subaru Blah or an Audi 3-liter Blah? I'm like, oh, Subaru.
But yeah. So my coworker. Oh, first thing that we were talking about, he was talking about how his Audi accelerated better than his Subaru.
Sounds like kale.
Well, no,
You just don't want to race me, bro, because I got more horsepower.
no. He actually had good reason because the Audi actually does go 100% two-wheel drive. It goes 100% front-wheel drive, which does get you out of your 60-foot in Audi will be faster than the Subaru.
Okay.
However, the Subarus outperform it in like literally any inclement weather. And then I said to him, how many transmissions do you think people go through in their S4s per year? And he goes, I'm like, how many transmissions do you think people go through in their WRXs per year with the same abuse? And he goes, good point.
Yeah, like an 01E versus the 5-speed Rex trans.
Yeah, like the Subaru WRX transmissions, perfectly
Those Audi
fine.
transmissions are very stout.
The Audi automatics are gonna shatter.
The manual.
Oh, the manual. They're not as good as the Subarus though. But I'm talking more about like the differentials and stuff. And
I know, but like
the whole
5-speed
driveline.
WRXs just blow up all the time. The transmissions.
yeah, from misuse and
Yeah,
pumping
from,
300
like-
horsepower through it.
Even stock power, if you launch them, the circlip
that's-
pops and your diff is done. The stock
I guess
6-speed
that
S4
is
trans
that is a good point.
doesn't break.
I guess that's a good point. But no, they're
autos are bad.
Audi transmissions are. His was an auto. He went from automatic S4 to a manual WRX.
Yeah, that's a definite improvement.
Yeah, the WRX transmissions would be way better.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a nice shifting trans, and it's usually
It's a
fine
lot
on
lower,
stock
yeah.
power. But
And that's the thing is he wants to keep it like close to stock power. But anyways, like he was talking about how he hates the Subaru Rumble. Like he got the
I don't
Subaru
like it.
entirely like just an adult decision. Like I want all-wheel drive. I want something fun. I
just
want it to be reliable.
put equal length headers on it. It sounds like a regular car.
That's what I told him. I said, he's like, I just hate that Rumble. I'm like, you are the only person on earth that this makes sense for. But yeah, get these equal length headers and stock power. He
I
goes,
also don't like the Subaru Rumble.
yeah, because anyway.
Sounds dumb. I like Jeremy Clarkson's quote. You hear that? That is the international sound of a moron approaching.
But he's like, he goes, wait, you can just like fix that easily? I'm like, yeah, you have one super short header pipe and then the other one's really long. And so he like looks it up. He goes, wow, that sounds way better. I'm like, he goes, how much are these? I'm like, they're kind of expensive. My parent one's like $700. And he's like, geez, that's a lot of money to just make that go away. I'm like, you also get like 40 horsepower after a tune. He goes, what?
Should have started with that.
He goes, how is that possible? I'm like, it actually flows well. And he goes, are you serious?
No, the pulses don't fight each other.
yeah,
like you were
he's
just saying.
like, he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, no, you gain like a ton of power. Like that's why I say like the EJ engine's like better than the 4G engine, because it's
Wow, that's a bold claim.
it's more reliable, and once you take care of the head gaskets, you get rid of the stock manifold, you can build more power. I just think that more people, the Mitsubishi engines just had way more R&D time to it for like in the aftermarket. I think in the long run,
that's true.
a closed deck EJ would outperform a 4G.
I don't know. There's a lot fewer connecting bolts in the bottom end of a flat 4.
However, the crankshaft is held together instead of just being held together held into the block on the top. It's held
Yeah. No,
by all sides.
I
It's
get
held in.
that.
That's
And
my
you could
logic.
probably get hardware and stuff that's strong enough, but like I'd worry about it pulling like the threads out of the aluminum case.
That is true. The aluminum case does make it a little bit harder. But I think I don't know. I'd like to see somebody just like, I would like to see 2 builds, the highest performance possible build of a 4G versus the
I want to
highest
see like a
performance.
no holds barred closed deck EJ to see what it could take because I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah.
I bet it's a bunch of power.
Probably a ton. Well, because even though it's aluminum, yeah, but it's also a boxer, which is going to be stronger. But yeah,
I guess I still you're probably right, but there's something about just that much shorter of a crankshaft and that many fewer pieces of hardware holding it together that just leads me to believe that it's not going to hold up better than like a 6
most
volt
of it that's
4G.
being held together though is going to be the actual crank case itself, not just.
That's true.
You don't have the forces of the engine working against a handful of bolts.
Okay.
Like on the inline engine. You have the force of the combustion chamber acting against the other force of the combustion chamber,
Sure.
keeping the engine together. So
yeah,
that's
the
my logic.
harmonics are probably better in that case.
That's my logic behind it. However, that being said, I'm not claiming to be an expert in this at all. So that's just
and
what I
I'm a
think.
blithering nincompoop when it comes to flat engines. I've had one in my Boxster. In fact, I've had 2 in my Boxster.
Yeah, you did, and then you got rid of that promptly, which
I
was
did.
probably a
which
good
is
decision.
Why I did that? Yeah.
What would be what's the worst thing you've
My
ever
junkyard
seen
heartbreak.
in
Is
that
it time
junkyard?
for this now?
Yes, I want to know that.
So it wasn't U-Pull.
Okay.
I've seen some good stuff at U-Pull, like a really clean E12 530 gray market car with Euro bumpers. I saw that
Was that back when we were in high
a
school?
long time ago.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember. I was there for that one.
So
yeah.
it had like cardinal red interior. I'm just like,
Yep.
what is this doing here? 4-speed trans. The heartbreak though, I was scrapping a chassis at Metro Metals, and I'm guaranteeing nobody except for you that's listening to this has ever been there. So this is just a scrapyard in kind of a dense area between our 2 twin cities, Minneapolis and St.
Yeah.
Paul. And in order
like when
to
we say scrapyard, we mean like
They take
like
in-
driller scrappers that
correct.
like drive around in, like crappy pickup trucks full of refrigerators.
Yep. So
Yeah.
there's 2 basic portions. There's one for cars, and then there's another where you drive around back, and it's like appliances and bikes, and you just dump all that crap.
All
So
the other garbage.
I spend most of my time in the cars area, and in order to do this, you drive across the scale. They take your before weight. You drive around to the middle area, and they take their big fork thing, unload it. You drive back across the scale, go inside, and get paid. As I was pulling up to the turnaround to get unloaded with this like E36 shell or whatever, I see in the top of a stack of 5 cars a completely untouched bone stock 91 BMW E30 318IS with black window trim. And I'm just like, I took a photo of it. I have a photo somewhere of this car, and I'm just like,
There's a reason I pay people to scrap my cars. Otherwise, I'll sit there and I'll like haggle with them and try and buy stuff. And just
I look every time, like I can't not, and like sometimes I'll see like an E39 or E34, and I look and it's like a 525. I'm like, fine, I don't care.
Yeah,
but like
but-
this was a last model year IS E30 with like stock wheel covers still on it, just totally unmolested.
Oh my god.
Thing was so nice, and it was sitting in top, so it wasn't damaged yet.
You could totally. I wonder if you could.
I went inside. I asked. I said we can't sell them. Policy.
That's so stupid. That's really dumb. Yeah.
So
Well,
that was heartbreaking.
One can only hope that maybe the owner there, because that's a small business. The owner actually looks at that, probably, took it off the list and got
Right.
a junk title for it or something.
I know, and if I knew somebody there, maybe it would have been different. Maybe they would have
I
looked the
do-
other way.
I do know, at least in California, a lot of people that like work at junkyards and stuff are car enthusiasts.
Right.
And there have been a few stories where I've seen where it's like, yeah, this guy junked like a MA61 Celica Supra with like 20,000 miles on it because like he inherited it from his grandpa and he was just like a pleb and
Yeah.
he like just shoved foreign objects in his sphincter and he didn't care about cars. And so he
Talking about Corey.
yeah, and so he just junked it without doing any research whatsoever. Anyway, so this guy gave him like $200 for it. Doesn't take the title, doesn't even sign it into the junkyard's name, just takes the title and puts it onto the register. And after the day closes, he goes up to his boss, goes, "Hey, I really want this car." Boss is like, "How much should we get for it?" He's like, "I paid $200 for it." He goes, "Well, I'll sell it to you for $5." So boss almost tripled his investment. This kid just got like the cleanest MA61. Like it needed like a buff, like really bad. Like that was about it. It needed
That
to
would've
be,
been
it needed to be like detailed. It needed like brakes and like tires and like all the rubber.
Oh, yeah.
because it's been sitting.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But,
the
like-
standard stuff.
But that's the thing is like this guy now is, including repairs, maybe $3,000 into the Celica Supra, and it's just flawless. And if you're looking for a Japanese GT car, like that,
Did he tighten down the head bolts?
No, it's a 5M. You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
5M.
That was only a 7M?
7M only. Yep.
Great.
Yeah. 5Ms would fail just because it's organic head gasket, and it just happens.
Yay.
But
Yeah. I mean, I've had one head gasket pop on a car. Well, actually, I bought it that way.
Yeah.
But it was an E30 325i sedan. I'm like, at 189K, I'm like, this is totally plausible that it's just bad because it's old.
Yeah,
And I pulled it apart. It was bad because it was old. I put a new one in with no changes.
150 to 250,000 miles. If your head gasket blows on a MA61, out of the 5M, hey, you had a good run. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things. Like, I didn't even troubleshoot it. I'm like,
you
this
own
is,
an old Toyota. Like, hey,
God,
you
that thing
didn't
smoked so bad, man.
you didn't like bend the cylinder head, right? Yeah, you're fine.
Bend
Like,
the cylinder head?
I
I mean,
say-
warp it?
no, I mean bend it, like, cause it's the backmost cylinder, and that one will
Okay,
be
yeah.
visibly moved.
Yeah, inline sixes really tend to cook the number 6.
Yeah,
I think that's just cooling system related.
Yeah,
but
it's not
yeah.
number 6 is just. I've seen pictures on the internet of like 5Ms that like overheated, and the guy like was like going up the Rocky Mountains or something. Just had to he had to push through. By the time he pulled up, by the time he went to a repair shop in like Nebraska, the cylinder was just like puking out coolant like all over the firewall and stuff. But yeah, so.
That's terrifying.
There are some stories that I've heard from time to time. Like, most of the surviving Duesenbergs, kind of the same thing happened. I got it. Most of the surviving Duesenbergs.
What is that thing
something
up
happened.
against? Those, okay.
That's a stupid.
I know, it doesn't have a nice ring to it.
There we go. You just have to keep it away from all the cords. 'Cause the
Oh,
cords get in
perfect.
there.
If I bring my laptop screen down, I can reach it.
Oh, there you
I'll
go.
keep
You
that in
figured it
mind.
out.
Yep.
Or you can just sit there and struggle for our viewers.
They're not watching. It's fine.
So, anyway, yeah, so you had an E30. I had a CVCC for the worst thing we've personally seen at a junkyard.
And this was 7-8 years ago. I mean, this is before E30s really took off in value too.
Yeah, somebody really lost their shirt.
Dude, that car is probably worth like $25,000 now.
Yeah, well, that's that guy gets. Whenever somebody junks something and there's a way I can save it, like, I'm totally into it. Like, yeah.
Why did we have to put the most depressing topic on the last part of the?
Don't worry, I got a couple more things
Okay,
here.
good.
Jana, you've gone to the junkyard more than a couple times with me. What's been like the most depressing thing you've seen there?
Well, like, I really try to ignore all that stuff, because otherwise you just go
You get
home
sad, yeah.
depressed. But I think one of the worst things was there was a car that I was taking parts off of, and it had a really awesome interior. And we got there towards the end of the day because, we work and stuff. So, like, got there towards the end of the day, didn't have enough time to pull off everything. And we're like, oh, we'll be back, tomorrow.
Oh, the Loyal.
No, this is one of the Accords. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
And, so, like, the interior was really nice, and we were considering, because, like, I have a brown interior on my Accords.
Yeah.
Which is gross. And I think this
It's very period.
Yeah, it's very period, and, like, it's
No, it's
comfy, but, like,
Yes, it is.
not the best color combination. And this
Dang it,
car
Ron.
had, like, a red interior.
Oh, very fine. I know
Yeah.
exactly the color too.
Yeah,
I love
and
that
so,
color,
like,
red,
we
the
were,
red
like,
velour.
Yep. Volgalure.
so we were, like, I was like, I want to save this interior if we can, but we can't pull it out today.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we'll come back tomorrow, but I had to work late, so we didn't get there in time. And so we go the day, like 2 days later, and somebody had gone through it and left the window open.
It's just it poured the day before.
Poured the day
It's
before.
ruined.
Ruined the interior.
Yeah.
I sat in the car, even though that was soaking wet, just like trying not to cry, because I was like, I wanted this so
Well, the thing was, we left the windows up. Somebody had rolled the windows down
yeah.
or broke the windows out or something. It's
Yeah,
just
and like
somebody,
we had told
somebody went out of their way to be an asshole about it.
I run into that once in a while at the U-Pole where I'm going there for a specific part and somebody's like snuck. Well, now you can bring a Sawzall in,
Yeah.
but before you could,
Yeah.
somebody like clearly had a Sawzall, or like I'm going for an electrical plug and they like took the dash out.
Yeah.
and they cut everything. And I'm just like, dude,
Yeah.
really?
And we had like told the employees like, hey, we want to buy this interior. You know, can you just like make sure the windows are up? And like we went in and they're like, we've got bad news for you. And I was like,
They actually did tell us beforehand. Like that was
that was nice of them.
they know Jana. Well, it was the same. It wasn't U-Pole. That was John's again.
Yeah.
But it was the same junkyard that like we went to for the Super Bowl and stuff. So like,
They really
knew
like
us.
me.
Yeah.
And they try their best, but you know, there's assholes.
I was gonna say you can't get around every asshole.
Yeah, and so like that's happened a few times to me where like there's something that we just can't get because we don't have the right tool or something, or we got something to do, and so I haven't really like, because I try not to look at the cars because that just makes you sad. But,
Yeah.
like,
It's
you know,
it's like walking through a graveyard. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just more like people ruining parts that I could have really used, and you know,
Right.
thankfully, you know, with all the cords I found there, like so many people in the community know exactly what accord I have, and they're always like, "Hey, this is in a junkyard close to you."
If I ever saw a CA coupe, I'd be like, oh, I should probably tag you guys in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what
I've made it very apparent that anybody that finds anything that's EA82 or CA6 related.
I was
Yeah.
scrolling through. I'm like, oh, Ryan posted. That's not Ryan's, but Brian needs to be tagged. Ryan is tagged.
Yeah. And like thankfully we have like those people around, but I get there, you know, a little too late.
It only takes one turd to mess with the punch bowl.
And it's because people see these cars and they're like, oh, nobody cares about this one, and I'm an angry teenage boy that hasn't been fucked.
Oh, I almost hit a
So-
guy once because I saw him do that to EF.
Oh yeah, and like we're the nice people that will roll up the windows in cars with nice interiors, and like, yeah, I think that's why the junkyard loves us so much, is because we do their job for them by being like, we saw these really nice parts, and I think you like, if we see something that we can't use that's like really awesome,
Oh, yeah.
we like tell them, and we're like, hey, you're gonna want to put this in a special place, like you don't want to leave it out there, like.
I do that a lot in cars where if I'm pulling rare stuff on the way to something I'm after, I'll just
Yeah.
leave it like in the back seat.
Yep.
It's like open, like already pulled, like there you go.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
somebody's to be really happy. I've done that before.
Yeah.
There's an EF sedan where I rolled a window up. I actually had a 9-volt battery in my pocket. That
That is so weird, Ryan.
well, no,
It's fine. What do you expect?
I had a 9-volt battery in my pocket.
The IPA emulator.
Yeah.
No, I had a 9-volt battery in my pocket. Yeah, exactly. No, I needed it because there was an old drill that my dad had that I had just replaced the battery, and I had the old one, which is like still had enough power in it. It's just not enough torque to do what I was doing. But anyway, it was I saw EF that was at U-Pole, and yeah, the door card was all apart, and there was rain coming, and it had a really clean blue interior. It was like flawless, and I'm like, wow, these blue interiors fade like crazy. There's gonna be some dude with a blue interior EF sedan that's gonna be really jazzed about this. I saw the rain coming. I'm like, passenger windows down. So yeah, the door panel's like mostly off. So I just popped it up. I grabbed the switch and just took the 9-volt battery and stuck the positive and negative and took my hand, and it wasn't
It probably
enough.
needed a little assist.
Yeah, it needed a lot of assist, but it was enough where I could actually move it. It had enough power
Yeah,
going to it. So
yeah.
yeah, I actually rolled it up, and then I went back there like a week later, and it was gone. And I'm like,
Nice,
cool. There was
excellent.
some guy that just had a really good day because he just got the interior he really wanted.
And like, I hate being a snitch, but I've also seen like kids like sneak into the junkyard, and I've told employees because I'm
Yeah,
just,
no,
like,
screw that. Yeah.
Because I'm like, you got like what? They were like
If it-
sneaking
so
in through a hole in the fence.
That kind of goes to the quality of the junkyard.
Yeah.
John's all day long, I'll tell him.
Oh yeah, if it's U-Pole,
U-Pole, probably not.
probably not.
I just want to know where that hole is, so I don't have to pay admission.
But yeah, like I saw like these like teenage boys that were obviously like weren't gonna be allowed in anyway.
They didn't have a toolbox, and they had open-toed shoes.
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah. And
Weebs.
so like I just
Bunch
like,
of weebs.
saw them sneak in, and I was like, I bet they're in here to destroy cars.
What is it with angsty teens?
I
Is it
don't
just because they
know.
got too much bottled up
So
juice?
back in like 2010, I was at U-Pole, and yeah, I was trying to. They had a green EF finally, like a green EF sedan, a T-shirt green pearl. It's like a hard to find color in a junkyard.
It's not the color of yours?
Yeah, exactly. And this is back when I still needed a fender, and I couldn't find anything. And I went there, and it had a perfectly good driver's side fender. I'm like, you know what? My passenger side fender has a little bit of service rust on it. It's like $15 here for a fender. This one's got the same pinstripe as mine and everything. Might as well take it. And I get ADD, and I see a DA Integra across the way. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's a GSR. 1 in a million chance it's a GSR. It's got the VTEC cylinder head on it that I can take off.
Yep.
And I go up to look at it and come back, and there's some like teenage boys that are like vandalizing the Civic. I fucking hit the fender that I wanted with a hammer. So it took a additional person to like intervene, but I was about to kick this kid's ass. Like, the kid was like probably like 5 years younger than me at that point in time, because I was like, no, not even. He's like 3 years younger, because he's like 16 or something, and I was 19. No, it would have been 19 in 2010. However old I was in 2010. But he's a couple years younger than me. And he,
Well,
I wonder what that was.
I don't know what that was. 19 or 20.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, this kid, like, I actually had to be held back by like, a third party that witnessed that. And like, they just told management the kid got kicked out. But I was just pissed because I'm like, I wanted that fender.
Like, it's the right color. It's the right pinstripe.
I didn't
it's
need
super rare.
If it was the left fender, the one I had come for, and I saw him doing that, I would have smashed his face into the hammer. I would not be here, and I'd be in jail for murder.
You'd be out on good behavior by now.
Maybe.
I bet you'd be out.
But no, I was
seen OJ,
I was
right?
so mad at that kid. Anyway, so I think we should not talk about junkyard stuff. I want to talk about some.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah, let's talk about some interesting facts that I learned over the week. Since we are renaming Motorcult to something else, I was kind of going through my pre-war notes record.
Oh, shoot. I just realized I had a topic in here I didn't even talk about yet.
Oh, what is it?
Grand Tour.
Oh, shoot. Tell me about Grand Tour.
They announced the release date finally. It's pushed back way more than it has been the prior years.
Well, they did it all. It's just traveling this season.
And they have a trailer that's live now, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited, so I'm going to go ahead and play this for our audience, because why not?
Yeah, we can play a ad. I see a W123.
They clearly do an episode where they get American lifted pickup trucks and stuff.
It's some sort of weird off-road vehicles.
Oh, this isn't the trailer.
Yes, isn't.
This is a terrible video. Digital Spy, you suck. Where the heck is the trailer? I'm gonna assume this is it. As you can tell, I vet like super thoroughly.
Oh, everybody's seen this trailer.
There we go. There we go. So this is the actual season 3.
Can they hear us on the podcast?
Yes.
Okay, good. It actually feeds through your laptop?
Yeah, I've got there's 2. Actually, there's like 7 audio things, but one's called desktop audio, and hopefully that worked. It has before. People will have to let us know if that didn't come through.
Yeah,
but
we'll have to amend that.
yeah, so
I'm excited for
the release date has been announced. It's sometime in January 18th, which is
That's
again,
almost my birthday.
super late.
It's 11 days before my birthday.
Anyway, so
My birthday's the same day as Oprah Winfrey.
I don't care actually, but I'm mainly excited because I like these people, and it's the only content currently that's produced that I actually watch that is published in 4K and HDR,
Yeah,
so I can
that's
take
true.
advantage of my OLED.
Yeah, finally.
4K
It's
TV.
just for watching.
It's just for watching Laserdiscs right now, which
Yeah.
is really stressing it out.
Anyway, so I want to end out the episode with some pre-war.
Ugh.
Don't worry, it's not bad. It's Duesenberg stuff. Duesenberg's might as well be post-war.
The technology is so good, it may as well be post-war.
It
That should have been
be.
like period advertising. Duesenberg, for
There'll
the
be
man
enough-
that likes post-war technology.
So, first off,
I'd buy it.
I found out that Duesenberg, the Model J, was the first car to have a oil change indicator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and a battery gauge and light.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. However, that being said, what I wanted to talk about were some facts about the car's acceleration and performance, because we were asking about that.
Facts.
Yeah, facts. And also the model designation, because they've got one model that like people it's really known for is this Duesenberg Model J. It's like that was their best model.
Okay.
However, there's 5 different versions of it.
What?
So there's the Model J, the normal one, the supercharged Model J, the short wheelbase supercharged Model J, the lightweight or the JN, which the JN, if I remember correctly, is like the sort of 1940s looking one, relatively, and then the supercharged JN, which is all kind of cool. So
And
that's
were these? I assume they all had different individual.
no, they were all called the Model J. These are all aftermarket names because they never had to rename them. It was meant for people that already knew however much it was.
Duesenberg, I gotta say, they probably should have come up with a little bit better naming structure because right now they're basically a pre-war Lincoln.
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of what it is. It's a
But it's like
pre-war-
every Lincoln's called an MKS.
yeah, something like that, I think. But anyway,
No, like
so
the SUV, the small CUV,
I don't know
the
what their names
sedan.
are. I can't.
I know, but I'm trying to like illustrate the point that nobody knows.
I know nobody knows. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Nobody knows at all.
Fine.
All right. So these are some specs on Duesenberg Model J's. You have to understand that this car weighed nearly 3 tons with the bodywork on it. This bare chassis was.
I was gonna say
over a
with
ton.
the bodywork.
So yeah, when you would buy it, it would be an engine with a chassis, and then you could either get the factory Legrand bodywork, which is a in-house coach builder was Legrand.
Is that Fedde Legrand, the EDM producer?
Sure, yeah,
He probably was around in the 1920s, right?
it was very old.
Put your hands up for Detroit.
I do like Fedde Legrand though.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
I
Now
assume it's a dude.
I
don't
think
even
so.
know.
I just assumed it's a male voice.
I'm
in the
working on the
songs.
tangents already, so
Yeah, really. All right, so these cars weighed like 3,000 pounds. However, they had like 265 horsepower on the NA version.
yeah. And how many foot-pounds of torque?
Trillions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't actually know how many foot-pounds of torque they had.
Just sufficient.
Sufficient.
Like
However,
pull a Rolls-Royce.
I can tell you that it was 265 horsepower that was capable of sending that 3-ton chassis to 119 miles per hour
I would
with-
not have done that.
without a supercharger, and it could hit 94 miles per hour in second gear.
Okay, yeah, but like a lot of W bodies can also do that.
Yeah, it says W bodies basically use a Duesenberg transmission.
That's high praise for a W body.
That'd be if a W body used a Duesenberg transmission, I would buy one.
Let the record state, Ryan would buy a W body under some conditions.
Yeah, it would have to be a Duesenberg, but if it was in fact a Duesenberg, then yes, I would buy a W body.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure we have that on record, just in case, for extortion. I mean, facts.
Extortion, what? I'm trying to get the exact speed here, but they had like an 8-second 0 to 60.
That is really, really fast. What year are these?
Like they were all built in 1928, 29.
Oh,
And
so
then they
downright modern.
And then they were sold throughout the 30s, as they made a whole bunch of them before the Great Depression, and the Depression hit, and they just continued selling the ones they'd already made.
Oh, I see. So they just like stood still.
It was really bad timing that they made these cars. But
I was gonna say they weren't exactly inexpensive, were they?
no, they. I'll get to the price in a little bit here.
Okay.
But so these are all these specs are the base model, non-supercharged, by the way.
Just love the term base model Duesenberg.
The
It's how ridiculous.
the 0 to 100 was 17 seconds. on it.
Miles per hour?
Yeah, 0 to 100 miles per hour, 17 seconds.
That's faster than like a majority of vehicles today.
Yeah, today. Yeah, I know. It's like they're actually really fast. And mind you, all of this is with a non-synchro mesh 3-speed manual transmission.
So you had to be a real person to drive it, is what
Yeah,
I'm
you
hearing
had to,
too.
you had to be a mensch to drive it.
I see.
No goyams allowed.
Mm.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. You could do that. And then
You are the most obtuse person I know
Thank
by
you.
no small margin.
now for the supercharged version, the supercharged version was able to hit 104 miles per hour in the second gear, had a top speed of 140.
Holy hell.
I know, right? And you also have to understand that, like, nothing was able. A mile a minute was flying.
60 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Ah.
Like, the
See what
term
I did
mile-
there with
yeah.
the mile a minute?
The
They're going a mile a minute, huh?
The term mile a minute in like 1935
Meant
was
something.
like the daily triple.
Oh.
To us.
Which, incidentally, I really like.
Yeah, like you're really flying if you're doing that.
Well, I was driving the FJ today, not the Fiat, so it doesn't have an 88 mile an hour limiter.
So then, they also made a land speed record version that had 320 horsepower, achieved an average top speed of 135 miles per hour, and a 1 hour average of 152. And
That's
with
ridiculous.
still had revs left. At 152 miles.
What
per
was the red line on that engine?
I have no idea.
Oh, well, you should have had your facts straight.
I'm sorry, I didn't. It's totally-
I'm sorry, all right? Please forgive me, my friend. Never!
I have no. I agree. I should have done my due diligence better.
Whatever.
But all right. So anyway, off to the pricing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand, average car in 1933 was about like $200-300. $400 if you really got a sweet, like fully loaded.
A real honey of a car.
A real honey of a Buick, yeah. These were $9,000 for the chassis.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Then once you add the bodywork to it, you can turn it, just the stock bodywork added on would make it about $13,000-14,000. And then if you wanted like any actual coachwork bodywork, you'd be looking $17,000 to $25,000.
I'm trying to do some simple math on how many times.
I did the math
Okay.
already on this. That in 1933, at the lowest point in the recession, a Duesenberg with stock bodywork would have been $140,000 for a car
In period money.
if you converted to 2019 dollars.
Oh, that's not so bad.
You have to understand though, what are you getting for that?
Hopefully the best.
Yeah, but when I say $130,000, you're getting like a radio, you're getting four-wheel.
Radio's pretty good for the
Yeah,
time.
you're getting four-wheel brakes.
Very impressive.
Yes, you're getting some electrical stuff. Like you're not getting the same.
Like
You're not-
lights.
You're not, yeah, like lights and stuff, but you're not getting like all the hybrid whiz bang gizmos and infotainment technology. Well, I mean, you were relatively speaking, but I mean like, relatively speaking,
You had me at whiz bang. You lost me at pre-war.
the a fully loaded Duesenberg, like realistically had the same amount of stuff that you would get in like a
Kia.
early '90s Lexus.
Kia.
Yeah, like a modern Kia.
Yeah.
So you're getting so basically.
So what you're telling me is a Duesenberg is a Kia.
Basically,
Okay,
that's a
cool.
good way to do it.
Yeah.
Except a hell of a lot faster, a lot cooler, and made for running over the poor.
Oh yeah, I do like the running over the proletariat. It's
Yeah,
good.
I think that should be our bombshell.
I think so too. Run over poor people.
Run over the poor people with your Duesenberg. Thank you for listening to Motorcult. Thanks for letting me ruin your day with
Catch
pre-war
you guys
facts.
on Monday or Saturday. I'm dumb.